past 50 years, American schools have been hiding something from you. They hide it in plain sight. It's a secret about what it truly takes to succeed, not just in a classroom but in life, in the real world. Sure, they teach reading and math, and that's good. But honestly, they fail to teach the most important lesson of all. It's a lesson about risk, failure, and what it means to create value for others. This isn't just a small oversight, it's a massive failure. A failure that has held back generations of students. It's created a society of people who expect things to be handed to them. They think showing up is enough, but it's not. The secret is this: schools are designed to create employees, not entrepreneurs. They are built to produce people who follow rules, people who wait for instructions, people who are comfortable with a steady, predictable path. Think about it. You get a bell to tell you when to start, a bell to tell you when to stop. You're told what to study, when to study it, and how you'll be graded. There's always a clear, single right answer. But life outside of school is messy. It's complicated. Success in the real world doesn't come from following a syllabus. It comes from taking risks. It comes from innovating. It comes from solving problems that don't have an answer key in the back of the book. This system started a long time ago. It was designed for the industrial age. Back then, we needed factory workers. We needed people who could do repetitive tasks without asking too many questions. The school system was perfect for that. It trained millions to be compliant, to be cogs in a giant machine. But that world is gone. Today, we live in an age of information, an age of innovation. The jobs of the future won't be on an assembly line. They'll be created by people who can think for themselves, people who can challenge the status quo, people who aren't afraid to fail, learn, and try again. Our schools are still operating on an old, outdated model. So, while your child learns about the Pythagorean theorem, they're not learning about profit and loss. While they memorize historical dates, they're not learning how to negotiate a deal. They're taught to work for a grade, not to create something of value. The entire structure of public education prepares them for a world that no longer exists. It punishes the very skills that are most rewarded in the modern economy. It rewards conformity and penalizes initiative. This is the shocking truth. The system isn't just broken, it's teaching our kids the wrong lessons about life and work. It's time we face that. Let's look at how this plays out. In school, your child is taught to avoid failure at all costs. A failing grade is a disaster. It brings shame. It can ruin a GPA. So, kids learn to play it safe. They choose the easy project. They don't speak up unless they're sure they have the right answer. They are trained to see failure as an endpoint. But in the real world, failure is a data point. It's a lesson. Every successful entrepreneur I've ever met has a long list of failures. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing a working light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Our schools teach the opposite. They teach that one F is the end of the world. Another example is collaboration. Schools talk about group projects. But what do they really teach? They often teach that one or two responsible kids will do all the work. The others get the same grade for free. That's not collaboration. That's teaching kids to be free riders. In the real world, a business team succeeds or fails together. If one person doesn't pull their weight, the project fails. The company loses money. People might lose their jobs. The consequences are real. In school, the consequences are a bad grade that you can recover from next semester. This creates a false sense of how teamwork actually functions. It teaches a distorted and dangerous lesson about personal responsibility. Then there is the issue of competition. Schools today often try to eliminate competition. They say it's bad for self-esteem. Everyone gets a trophy. It's a nice sentiment. But it's a lie. The world is competitive. You compete for a job. You compete for a promotion. Businesses compete for customers. Pretending competition doesn't exist is a great disservice to our children. It leaves them unprepared for the reality they will face the moment they graduate. They enter the workforce thinking that participation is all that matters. They are shocked when they discover that results are what count. We are setting them up for a rude awakening. We are not protecting them, we are leaving them vulnerable. Finally, consider the concept of value. In school, you get good grades by pleasing one person, the teacher. You learn what the teacher wants, and you give it to them. It's a simple transaction. In the real world, you create value by pleasing thousands or even millions of customers. You have to figure out what people want, what they need, what they are willing to pay for. You don't have a teacher giving you a study guide for life. You have to innovate, market, and serve. This is the essence of a market economy. It's a skill that schools almost never teach. They focus on consuming information, not creating value. The consequences of this educational malpractice are severe. We are raising a generation of young people who are terrified of risk. Then they look for a safe job with a big established company. They are afraid to start their own business. They are afraid to pursue a bold idea. Why? Because school has taught them for 12 years that failure is unacceptable. This fear of failure stifles innovation. It kills the entrepreneurial spirit that made America the most prosperous nation on earth. It is a slow-moving crisis that is crippling our economic future. It's a tragedy unfolding in every classroom. This system also creates a sense of entitlement. When you get a trophy just for showing up, what do you learn? You learn that effort doesn't matter as much as participation. You learn that you are owed something. This attitude carries over into the workplace. Young employees are sometimes surprised that they don't get a promotion after 6 months. They are surprised that they have to work hard to prove their worth. This isn't their fault. It is what they were taught. They were taught that the world is a fair and gentle place that will reward them for simply being there. This is a dangerous fantasy. It leads to frustration, disappointment, and a generation of unhappy workers. For families, the impact is financial and emotional. Parents spend a fortune on college. They believe it's the only path to success. The kids believe it too. But many graduate with degrees that don't lead to good jobs. They are saddled with debt and can't find work that pays enough to live on. They move back home. This creates incredible stress for the entire family. The promise of the American dream feels more distant than ever. Parents feel like they failed. Kids feel like they failed. But it's the system that has failed them. It has sold them a bill of goods. It has promised a secure future that it is no longer equipped to deliver. Ultimately, this hurts society as a whole. A society that fears risk is a society that stagnates. A society that devalues competition is a society that loses its edge. Innovation comes from the rebels, the rule breakers, the people who see a problem and say, I can fix that. Our schools are not designed to nurture these people. They are often designed to punish them. The student who questions the teacher, who gets bored with the curriculum, who wants to build things instead of writing essays, that student is often labeled a problem. But in many cases, that student is the future, and we are failing them. So what can you do? You can't wait for the system to fix itself. Government-run schools are a monopoly. Your work. Explain how your family's budget works. Talk about profit, loss, and the importance of providing value. Start a small family business, even if it's just a lemonade stand. Let them experience the thrill of earning their own money. Let them learn from small failures so they are not afraid of big ones later on. This is education the school will never provide. Second, you must supplement their education. Don't rely on the school to teach them everything they need to know. Encourage them to learn skills outside the classroom. Coding, public speaking, sales, woodworking, video editing, anything that involves creating something tangible. These skills are often more valuable in the marketplace than what is taught in many high school classes. There are countless online resources, local clubs, and mentors available. Help your child find a passion and pursue it relentlessly. This will build their confidence and give them a real advantage in the world. It will show them there is more to learning than what happens inside a school building. Third, demand change. But don't just complain. Look for alternatives. In many states, you now have more choices. School choice programs like vouchers or education savings accounts give you the power to take your child's funding and use it at a school that works for you. That could be a private school, a charter school, a micro school, or even for homeschooling resources. When schools have to compete for your dollars, they have a powerful incentive to innovate and improve. They have to offer a better product. Competition is the solution. It works for everything else, from cars to cell phones. It's time we brought it to education. This is not a small issue. This is about the future of your children and the future of our country. We cannot afford to keep sending our kids through a system designed for a bygone era. We need to prepare them for the world as it is, not as we wish it would be. A world of competition, risk, and incredible opportunity. The schools won't do it. The bureaucrats won't do it. It is up to us. It is up to parents. We must have the courage to reject the old broken model and demand something better. Our kids are counting on us. Let's not fail them.